Since I turned 30 years old 3 years ago, I've been deliberately trying to improve my health as I noticed myself started to age a little older and older. So I've been trying different types of scientifically proven behaviors, activities, and things like that to improve my overall health using scientific data from genetic testing to CGM, continuous glucose monitor, to going to the doctors, get my lipid panel, all that good jazz to improve my overall health. And recently, there has been this new trend about doing cryotherapy. And it sounded really crazy to me initially because why would anyone deliberately expose themselves to the extreme temperatures? It seems like pretty torturing. But apparently there are a lot of health benefits about doing cryotherapy or deliberate cold exposure.
Stimulating both mechanisms, increases in resilience and increases in core metabolism, and the use of deliberate cold exposure for sake of building resilience. We experience an increase in norepinephrine, in noradrenaline release, and in adrenaline release to deliberately stress our body. And yet, because it's deliberate, we can learn to maintain mental clarity. We can learn to maintain calm while our body is in a state of stress. And that can be immensely useful when encountering stressors in other parts of life. Our ability to lean into challenge or to tolerate challenge while keeping our head straight. Most notably, the neuromodulator dopamine, which is involved in elevating our mood, making us feel energized, and enhancing our ability to focus. And that has a lot to do with how dopamine engages us in motivated states, tends to narrow our thinking and our behavior into a particular trench of goal-directed behavior. And it continues to make us feel good even after we get out of the cold environment. Deliberate cold exposure can be very useful for recovery, likely through reductions in inflammation in muscle and connective tissue. So deliberate cold exposure is very powerful as an anti-inflammatory tool.
And I've been following this professor from Stanford University, and not long ago I listened to this podcast by Andrew Huberman about deliberate cold exposure and the benefits of deliberate cold exposure. And some of the benefits include increased dopamine, increased mood, motivation, and focus, increase eustress, which is a good type of stress compared to distress, to convert white fat to brown or beige fat, which contains mitochondria that helps metabolic health, to improve exercise recovery as an effective recovery tool after high intensity exercise, to decrease muscle soreness, increase muscular power from training, and to improve endurance training, to improve mental clarity, resilience, and willpower. So it seems like deliberate cold exposure has a lot of benefits. And Dr. Huberman talked a lot about deliberate cold exposure through ice bath. It seems like it's a more budget-friendly way, but just carrying the entire ice bag into my bathtub, it seems pretty hard to do. So in today's video, we're gonna go to the Icebox and we're gonna try out the cryotherapy. So let's go. This vlog is a little different. I am trying the cryotherapy for the first time at Icebox. So today I'm super excited, but I'm also very nervous because I heard that it does get really cold really quickly. So let's go. I got invited to an Icebox party by my friend. Okay, this is the chamber. So basically, I think you have gloves, socks, and boots before you chill. You got your earmuff. These are the gloves things and the hat. And here's the chamber. I can't bring my camera in there because it will ruin my stuff. And also your Apple Watch or Fitbit cannot go in. They also have the leg compression and you just relax and it's like supposed to recover your legs. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is the mini facial room. It's so chill. They also have a changing room. I don't know if I can wear contact lens, so I put my glasses on, just in case. Also, I just want to do a disclaimer. This video is not sponsored. They don't know, but Icebox, if you're watching this video, please sponsor me. Let's try this. Why do you like to do cryotherapy?
So it reduces inflammation. It also like promotes like
It's like great for health, like because we work out a lot. So
Yeah, so we're gym bodies.
yeah, it's good for active recovery, and you burn calories in the Icebox on top of that.
4 levels?
Yeah, so we have like the beginner, the medium, there's black diamond, and then double black diamond. And I think double black diamond is like negative 250 or something like that.
That's too cold for me.
Degrees, not Celsius.
My husband said like do the level 2 at least.
Yeah, it's like all a mind game. Like,
Should I ease myself in? Should I do level 1 and then should I level 2?
so you could like freeze and then squeeze and then freeze again.
We'll see if it actually helps. But apparently you can burn a lot of calories.
Yeah, and it's just like really good for like recovery, and like if you're working out a lot, we need that.
We need that.
Hello, I am ready to freeze. No, I'm not. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What's level 1?
Because he said when he did the level 1, he didn't feel a thing. So, but he has like more resistance to cold.
I have no resistance to cold.
I have no resistance to cold. I'm so nervous. What it says, negative 166 to negative 220. Here. So this is a little changing room. So we need to put their slippers, put their ropes, and their socks. Oh, I am actually really nervous.
I am nervous too, yeah.
I am really, really nervous.
I am not a fan of the cold, so
yeah, I don't like the cold, so we will see.
Is it recording? I'm scared.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done it before. It is the second time.
The second time, what do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, I feel more relaxed after all.
You feel more relaxed?
Yeah, I feel more relaxed. And I think I did it try last time.
Yeah, she said twice.
Yeah, I'm going to do maybe 3 times if possible this time.
But this is at 1:30. It's perfect.
I can see their little feet.
They're cute.
Thank you.
How many you guys going in?
I see ropes. I see ropes. It seems pretty cold.
It is.
That was good. It's like, I am frozen.
These are the larger ones. Do they fit? How do they fit? By trans. Ah, it's like a glove. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
You got this. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna go with you again, okay? So just remember, you're gonna see those 2 LED lights at the top. You're gonna shoot to the bottom, letting you know that it's gonna start the timer. It's gonna slowly start ascending. At 1:30, I'm gonna give you guys a friendly nod and a thumbs up, okay? You're gonna see these on the left-hand side. That's letting you know that's where you put your rope, okay? Other than that, you guys are gonna freeze, alright? You ready? And beginner level, so negative 160. Alright, let's go, let's go, let's go!
Oh my god.
Dang, I could not. Yeah, they know. There you go. Woohoo! Yes!
It's honestly not that cold. I can do level 2.
Yeah!
But I feel good. It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels really good. Like, cryo buddy.
Hey, that's good to know though, because they're about to do level 2.
Yeah.
We talked
Oh,
about
really?
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're gonna do level 2. You can do it. It's not that bad. Oh, it's really not that bad. Next round, I'll do level 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Me too.
So he just did the highest level, the double.
Highest level, so cold. Halfway through, I felt like I couldn't breathe. But great experience overall. I'm gonna do it again because it's my first time ever trying it. But
It's your first time you did the highest level? Oh my god. But you survived.
Yes, I
And do you
survived.
feel better afterwards?
I do, especially since it's over 100 degrees here in Texas. Like just going in, I'm like, okay, like now I feel like awake.
I would say I think it has its appeal because it's 110 degree outside.
Yeah, I know, so hot.
I think this is a good line of business
It is, especially
because it's so hot in Texas.
so hot.
My opinion on ice baths?
Yeah, so she used to do a lot of ice baths. Why do you used to do that?
Because it feels, I used to have like shin splints and all that, and it really helps with all the muscles, and it feels really nice. It's like when you're in it, it doesn't feel bad. Like your body feels really, really good, so it's worth it.
So like what type of sports do you used to do?
I used to do cross country and track.
Wow, and then it's really good for recovery.
Yes.
And your coach told you that?
Yes. We used to do them at school. Like we used to do them. We used to have the big ones outside, and then the bigger ones, and then the smaller ones in the trainer's room. And we used to do about 10 to 15 minutes. If we were like for my therapy, like for my shins and all that, I used to do it more. And like just dip my shins in. But sometimes we did full body, which is really good.
Wow.
Yes.
At this particular location, other than the cryo chamber, they also have leg compression therapies and other therapies such as facials and red light therapies and things like that. But I think what really is appealing to me is the cryotherapy because it's not like I can do it at home. But the leg compressions are so chill. It's just so nice to be squeezed.
How do you feel, man?
I feel squeezed.
Good. That's how you should be.
I feel like it's a little too big. It can squeeze a little harder.
I actually did the leg compression therapy when I was pregnant. When I was pregnant, I had a lot of circulation issues and water retention, so doing the leg squeeze really helped. Other than that, whether it really helps like the sports recovery, I am not sure, but I knew for a fact that I felt great when I had the water retention during pregnancy.
I know, we would love the neck part.
I already feel hot. From the ice chamber, I feel like my feet are a little cold, but my under area already feel really hot.
Here, I was describing what I feel to the staff. Basically, after the whole body chamber, I felt really hot. I did notice an increase in my core body temperature. So according to Dr. Andrew Huberman, our body is basically like a thermostat, like an AC or heat. Every time when we receive any signals from the environment that environment is cold, our body will naturally raise its core temperature. And when we perceive the environment to be hot, we will try really hard to decrease the core temperature. So our body actually reacts to the outside environment factors the opposite way to bring the balance and return to its original temperature, which means that after the cryotherapy, my body actually feels hot, not cold, which is pretty interesting. And it also proves that what Dr. Andrew Huberman said in the podcast is actually true.
Liquid nitrogen. So alone, it's going to get a lot of pressurized air that's going to be pushing towards the skin, allowing that blood flow circulation that I need, releasing any inflammation that's on the top surface. Especially for some people who have rosacea, let's say eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, it will show a big difference on there because it is allowing all of that blood flow to push it out, all those toxins. Just by freezing the top surface. We do a little thing called cryotherapy, which is just like cool sculpting, but instead of a harsh suction, it's a small handheld piece. It's very nice to focus on collagen production, tissue stimulation, tightening of the skin, loose cellulite, anything on that, we focus on that.
All right, I just did level 2. Definitely do level 2. Level 1, I didn't feel as much, but level 2, I actually felt it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually felt the
I don't know what you're talking about. I felt level 1.
Brandon said he didn't feel a thing in level 1, and I could, now that I did level 2, I can notice a huge difference.
Wow. Yeah?
I was shivering.
In the future, I will do level 2.
I felt level 1. Level 1 was good. Warm thoughts all the time.
And look at her, she's already. Did you eat lunch? This is your lunch. That's good. I ate a huge lunch.
When I was first exposed to that cold ice temperature, the adrenaline just spiked in my body. And after 1 minute and 1.5 minutes, I start to shiver. At the end, towards the last 30 seconds, I do feel cold, but that's when we test our resilience. That's the mental benefits of like the cold exposure. Because you can tell it's been 24 hours since I first did the deliberate cold exposure through the cryo chamber. And I just want to share how I felt 24 hours after my deliberate cold exposure. First of all, Dr. Andrew Huberman talked about deliberate cold exposure is associated with an increased level of dopamine in the brain. It's like felt good, improved mood, motivation, focus, and things like that. I do think there was a improvement in terms of my overall mood, especially yesterday right after doing the cold exposure. Felt very high, very happy, very motivated. I just felt like, wow. It kind of reminds me that when I was a child, that like if I go swimming with my friends and it's cold in the swimming pool and we just, you know, play really hard, swim really hard, and come out of that cold pool and feeling great and refreshed afterwards. I'm a very motivated person in general. Only time that I don't feel like I'm motivated to do anything was when I was pregnant. I do think there is a correlation between motivation and hormones. I don't know if I'm more focused either, but I can tell that like the increased dopamine makes me into a better mood. Dr. Andrew Huberman talked about the difference between the distress and eustress. So distress is basically bad for you, chronic stress and stuff like that, and eustress is actually good for you. The deliberate cold exposure actually has a no to minimal cortisol levels increase. So personally, I do feel like a shock on my body when I felt really, really cold, but I could feel the stress on my body and I could feel a lasting effect of the stress on my body afterwards. I definitely noticed a difference in terms of my body reactions to temperature afterwards. The third thing, deliberate cold exposure converts white fat, which is like a fat that's stored in your body, to brown fat or beige fat, which contains mitochondria that helps you to burn calories or burn fat to increase metabolism, to burn fat in thermogenesis to increase body temperature or core temperature. I do notice a difference in terms of my cold temperature resistance. But whether there is a difference in terms of my overall metabolism, who knows? I don't even know what my metabolism is. It has to be measured. But I do feel a difference in terms of my core temperature regulation and thermogenesis. Number 4, Dr. Andrew Huberman talked about avoiding cold exposure 4 hours after strength training or hypertrophy training.
The question of whether or not doing an ice bath or doing deliberate cold exposure or taking a cold shower after strength/hypertrophy training, meaning training designed to increase strength or I should say the size of muscles, will somehow short circuit or diminish that process, whether or not it will reduce or eliminate those strength gains and hypertrophy gains. And the short answer is that if your main goal is hypertrophy and strength, it is probably best to avoid cold water immersion and ice bath immersion in the 4 hours immediately following that strength and or hypertrophy training. If you're really neurotic about this, then perhaps you'd want to move the cold water exposure to a different day entirely. But it all depends on how neurotically attached you are to getting every last bit of strength and hypertrophy. And if that's your goal, terrific. Well, then probably moving the cold exposure 4 hours or more away from that training is going to be necessary for you.
Yesterday, I actually did a cycle class and then I did circuit training, which is strength-based. And then 4 to 5 hours later, I did my deliberate cold exposure. Planned it out perfectly in a way that there is a 4-hour difference between the two. And I feel like, again, strength and hypertrophy, it's not like after one time and then you notice a difference. Whether doing the cold exposure 4 hours after the training or 3 hours or right after the training makes a difference to me, I honestly don't know. So the whole idea is for the stress from the training to last for a little bit longer through the recovery as our body react to the stress of the training itself. So that is something to keep in mind, that if you really, really, really care about building strength and hypertrophy, try to delay your deliberate cold exposure. The number 5 is cold immersion and exercise recovery. So according to research, most of the muscle groups, or at least the big muscle groups, take about 48 hours to recover. Cryotherapy or cold immersion decrease the muscle soreness, can quickly train again. Instead of waiting for 48 hours, you may be able to train in 36 hours or even 24 hours. Personally, I don't train hard enough. I always feel a little bit sore after my strength training, like on Saturday. So yesterday I did a strength training and did a cryotherapy, and I did notice a little bit more relaxed effect, so I could do some exercise again. However, I do want to say that last night I didn't have a good sleep because I am a new mom of a 3-month-old. I didn't have a lot of deep sleep, and I woke up feeling groggy this morning. I felt very, very tired and sleepy from not having a long deep sleep sesh. So I do think between the cryotherapy and the sleep actually makes a bigger difference in terms of my muscle recovery than the cryotherapy itself. So I think between sleep and cold exposure, I would choose to sleep more and have that better quality sleep. However, I do want to say, compare the days between me training without good sleep, without the cryotherapy versus me training without the good sleep, but with the cryotherapy, I do think my muscles recovered a little bit better after I did the cryotherapy, because immediately after the cold exposure, I don't feel as sore as when I first went into the cold exposure. Cryotherapy is an effective recovery tool after high intensity exercises, and I do think it has a positive outcome to me. It did decrease my muscular soreness. Whether it increased my muscular power, I don't know, but I did go back to training quickly today. But between cryotherapy and sleep, I would choose to get good quality sleep. But in the case that being a mom of a newborn, I can't choose if I can get a good quality sleep, I do think cryotherapy helps. I do notice after yesterday's cryotherapy, some of my past injuries didn't flare up as much. Do see a difference between like before having the cryotherapy and after the cryotherapy. A lot of people talk about cryotherapy helps with weight loss. So first of all, cold exposure or exercise in cold temperature, you could burn more calories than in a warmer temperature. Why? Because your body needs to burn more calories to maintain the core temperature. So I think there's been a misconception that some people think that it's hot weather helps you to lose weight, cold weather doesn't help you to lose weight. It's actually the opposite. Well, we eat more in winter during the holiday seasons, not just because it's a holiday season. In winter, we need to eat a little bit more to keep our temperature because we burn calories to generate heat. But in summer, we usually don't have the appetite because like our body immediately wants to reduce the calories intake, because if we eat too much, our core temperature goes up, we will feel too hot. So that's why a lot of times we feel bigger appetite in winter and no appetite in summer. However, if you exercise in summer, it does burn more calories because your heart has to work harder to pump blood into your muscles to use the energy. So exercise in heat actually helps with your cardiovascular health in general. So there's benefits in terms of both heat and the cold. A lot of people think they burn calories, they lose weight in sauna, but that's the water way. Versus cryotherapy or ice bath, your body starts to shiver, and that actually burns a lot of calories because that's called like thermogenesis. I think cold exposure does help in terms of weight loss for two reasons. The first reason, like I said, when you shiver, you do burn a little bit of calories, but another reason is that it converts white fat to brown fat or beige fat. So the fat is not just stored there, but to actually used in terms for thermogenesis reasons. So I think the main reason for improving metabolic rate or helping weight loss is not because you just burn that like 300, 500, how much calories in the chamber, but a long-lasting effect of like converting the white fat into brown fat and beige fat. Finally, Dr. Huberman also talked about the mental benefits of doing cold exposure to build a resilience, to build that like you can sustain, to stay in stillness when things get hard. A lot of friends said I am an intense person. I feel like if I put my head into something, I will get it done. So for example, I finished my doctoral dissertation in 20 days, which is I wrote 160 pages within 20 days. And like I wanted to lose my pregnancy weight and I lost 43 pounds in 3 months. So I felt like if I put my mind to it, I can accomplish it. The cold exposure, I don't think it tested my willpower yet because I only did level 1 and level 2. There are level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. But personally, I'm a little hesitant to do it at a higher level because I am nursing. I'm still nursing. I don't want to give my body too much stress, too much adrenaline. But the whole idea of making it more and more and more and more challenging as you're adapting to the cold. So I do like the fact that in that cryotherapy place that there are different levels. I think if you do it at home with ice baths, you can try to do it first for 1 minute or then 5 minutes. Mental challenge of the cold exposure, for me at least, was not the fact that I was in the chamber waiting for that 3 minutes to pass by, but actually to go into the chamber, step into the ice box from the warm and fuzzy outside takes a lot of mental willpower. It goes back to a lot of people talk about in the fitness world that the most difficult step is to show up at the gym, to drive there, not necessarily to pick up that weight. So I think it's the same thing with the cryotherapy. Is the most intense intense mental willpower needed was not to actually sustain in the room, but to actually step into the room. Once I was in, I was good. So yeah, all right, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video is helpful to you if you want to try cryotherapy or ice bath. If cryotherapy is not in your budget, you can also try the ice bath and get the same benefits. But according to Dr. Huberman, like the cold shower, there's so many ways of doing shower, and usually the water doesn't get cold enough in the cold shower. That's it for today's video. Thumbs up, subscribe, and share in a comment below what is your experience in cryotherapy, and I hope to see you soon. Bye! Adios!